Monday, new start of the week, volume profile, NASDAQ, opening up with a gap to the upside today. Gap rules enabled. Let's see how we use those to find some high probability trades. And let's see what the market did. Let's go. All right, friends, Monday, holiday week, obviously not ideal to trade. A lot of people taking time off. You can see it in the volume, price basically try to close the gap initially and then just start chopping around. I got chopped up a little bit due to connection issues. Yeah, I'm basically break even on the day. I'm happy with that. To be seen if I will be trading next week or this week. Yeah, we'll see. Regardless of that, so profile wise, where's my pen? Profile wise on the week, so this was the prior week. We were opening or closing last week above the value of that week, and also opening up this week with a gap to the upside, with a higher probability of rejecting this value. I was looking for, the move up was getting really obvious here, but I was using the value levels from the week before of that as a line in the sand, if that makes sense. So if price trades inside of this range, I want to see it hold, and as long as it trades inside of this range, I want to be looking for trades towards the upside on a higher time frame. So that was something I was looking at on the higher time frame. On the session profiles, so last session, US session was here. The value of this session was all the way down here. So we opened up with a gap to the upside. So the overnight, we gapped in the overnight, and we are trading with a gap towards the prior range session. Let's see. Yeah, we opened up to the high side here. So this becomes the gap. So gap rules become enabled. What do I mean with this? Or just first go over the levels I use when something like this happens. When the levels from prior session are not here, the sessions from the overnight become very important. The overnight high, overnight low, and the point of control. In this case, for me, the one to look out initially was the high. So the closest level where price was opening towards. That was the one I was using as a gauge to see what price was doing. But there is another rule, and that rule is the 1 minute opening range. So price was opening up in this candle here, that bearish candle. That was the market open. So what I like to do is then draw a box around that candle, and this becomes the 1 minute opening range. If we are opening up with a gap, I want to see strength immediately in the direction of the gap. Otherwise, the probabilities become very high that we close the gap from prior session, right? So for example, in this case, the market opened up on this level, the opening price. Immediately price pushes down. It's not the most bullish thing. Regardless, the first minute closes, second minute opens up, trades above the opening price and closes above. This is starting to look bullish, but I want to see more information now, because we really didn't open that bullishly, in my opinion. To open really bullish in this scenario, price would have been driving up and not coming back. Right? It's not even retesting this zone. That's one case. Or the opening price, we drive to the upside, we come back, do a retest and still reject, still super bullish. If price is opening up and immediately sells off, some alarm bells start wrinkling in my head, like, all right, I gotta watch out for a rejection and price might go for the gap close. So I'm looking at the overnight high. I'm looking at price, all right, we sell off, we close bullishly afterwards. But if I'm not long down here, I don't want to be long here. I want to wait for price to confirm that we are bullish, show me something more of an impulse move, come back for a higher low, and then go long. That was my idea here. But obviously, so the market opens up, bearish candle, closes bullishly. We see here on the order flow a lot of buying going on. There's immediately super bearish candle, meaning this turns into absorption. I was waiting for closes below this level here. Obviously, this was a little bit too much, too aggressive for me to enter. Yeah, so if the open doesn't show strength upon open, but it does the opposite, the chances become very, very good that we're going to close the gap from prior session, which was, oh, still have an open order here. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. All right, so the prior range high from this session was here. So the market opens up, 1 minute opening range basically fails. Use this as a gauge for the strength in the session upon open. So we're opening with a gap to the upside, which is very bullish, but the 1 minute opening range here is telling something different. So I'm holding off. I want to see more information, and or I want to go short on that move to trade towards that prior range high. Market sells off. Let me remove this one. Market sells off towards that overnight point of control, and initially we find buyers here. We come back all the way back to that 1 minute opening range, and we still reject this beautiful short here, beautiful short position to the lows here again. Again towards that overnight point of control, bouncing here again a little bit, selling off. I think I was short in this move from the overnight POC for a move towards that prior range high. Market, a lot of absorption here on the tape too. Wait, let me zoom in. So market sells off on that overnight low level. I really was anticipating a flush straight towards that prior range high. I think I trailed myself out somewhere, yeah, not too sure. But yeah, a lot of absorption, a lot of sell strength here. Price is unable to trade lower. Buyers step in here, they become trapped, and we're back to the upside. And then we basically start chopping around. You can see it here very violently, unable to trade towards that gap, probably trapping a lot of people anticipating moves towards this level, and then just starts chopping around. The gap will be closed at some point today, tomorrow, this week. We'll see, next week, next year. But yeah, not in this session. When we open with a gap and we fail upon open in the direction of the gap, which indicates we will more likely close the gap, I kind of want to see the move in the first 2 hours of the session, right? If that doesn't happen in that time, probably not a good idea to keep trading towards that level. It's very easy to get married to those ideas. I get married to those ideas because they're very powerful ideas. Yeah, regardless, happy to be ending the day on a $87 win. I was down like 800 or something. Yeah. Regardless, that's how we trade the profile with a gap. This one was a failed auction upon open with the intention to close the gap. So yeah, nice example here. I hope you learned something from this, because these are very powerful tools to use upon open with a gap to identify strength in a trend or in a market or an asset. As you can see here clearly how beautifully it shows you the rejection upon open, and again rejecting here, this gives you high probability entries towards naked levels, as in overnight POC, overnight low, prior range high. Yeah, a little bit bumped that we didn't close the gap, but yeah, it happens. We can't control the market. We just have to get what she gives. Yeah, we'll see. So that's for that. Yeah, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then we got Christmas and my birthday. So I'll be doing the reviews. I'm just not sure how much I want to be in the market with this price action, but I will for sure keep in touch with the profile, see what value does, just to keep in touch with the market. And yeah, that's it. See you tomorrow.